Well, thank you all. We are going to start. Welcome to the Bristol Hotel. My name is Randy Shaw. I'm the director of the Tenderloin Housing Clinic.
That's mine.
Okay. No, I thought I didn't prepare remarks. No.
No, you didn't.
Oh, why don't we just keep it coming into the door here, and you can move on their sides here. And so again, thank you all for coming. And it's really a special day because the Bristol Hotel is a jewel of a property, as you'll see when we give a tour. It's so rare. I don't know of another all-private bath hotel that would be available for lease for formerly homeless people. And the Bristol rooms, I would say over half of these rooms may be bigger than any room we have in our 21 hotels that we otherwise lease. So it's a big rooms, quality conditions, all new. We're gonna have a kitchen. Right where you guys are all there taking the pictures, there'll be a kitchen installed. It's in the building department now. I want to give some background of how we got to this point, because the Chronicle story this morning talked about some parts of it, but I think it's important to realize that when we met with the owner to do the hotel, we agreed on a certain price, but then there was a private operator that was willing to pay significantly more. So I asked for a meeting with Mayor Breed. I actually first contacted her the day after she got elected, and it took a while because I was out of town and she travels and all, and we got together in mid-August. And we had a meeting, and I explained to her that we were being outbid on the property. And I think what a lot of mayors could have said, well, Randy, I'm sorry, we don't have anything in the budget for this. There's no money for step-up housing. Or, well, hey, we're not going to pay that. If they're going to, we can't get in a bidding war with private owners. But that's not what Mayor Breed said. Mayor Breed said, and I'm saying Jeff was with me, Jeff Buckley, he remembers, I want you to get that hotel. Do whatever it takes. That's exactly what she said. Do whatever it takes to get that hotel. So I said, okay, Mayor. So I called Bill Takor. Where is Bill, the owner of the hotel? I called Bill, and I said, Bill, look, we can offer to pay a little more. Mayor Breed says she really wants the hotel. And Bill said, Randy, let's do it. I'll tell the private people that we don't want to use them as long as, and this was the key thing where we get Mr. Benioff involved, as long as there can be funding for it. Because we had an offer, we had an agreement, but we had no funding source for the hotel. So time was passing, and I'll let the mayor pick up the story, but I got a text one Friday at 6 o'clock from Mayor Breed saying, I got the money for your hotel. And I'll let you tell her, have her tell you how she accomplished it, because we'd all like to know. So with no further ado, Mayor London Breed.
Thank you. Thank you, Randy. It's really exciting to be here today. When we have an opportunity to provide housing like this to so many people who we know are living on the streets, we have to do whatever it takes to get access to this housing. And so when Randy and I talked about this in my office, and he told me that this was a newly renovated hotel that could provide 58 units of step-up housing, I just got super excited because this doesn't come along every single day. And so I started making the phone calls, and not everyone said yes, but Marc Benioff said yes as soon as I asked him. And so once he agreed to support this project, I immediately texted Randy because I was like, tell Bill to hold off because we want those units, and we have a generous supporter of helping us address homelessness here in San Francisco. Marc and Lynn Benioff have been absolutely extraordinary in the efforts to address these issues, and he said yes without hesitation. So thank you, Marc, for being here today. Well, we are here to celebrate this, along with a number of other things that I know we will be able to accomplish in San Francisco to address what we know is a real crisis. We have 58 units of step-up housing, which creates exits for people who are living in permanently supportive housing who are now able to live independently. And it will also create 58 vacancies in our existing supportive housing that can go to people who are in our navigation centers and who are in our shelters. Because of the activism of people like Randy Shaw and the Tenderloin Housing Clinic and the generous support of Marc and Lynn Benioff, we are able to turn this into permanent housing for formerly homeless adults. My top priority as mayor has been addressing this, and we all know that there's not a one-size-fits-all. We all probably have a story of our own of some of the challenges of people that we have tried to personally help. In fact, I work alongside Jeff Kaczynski, who manages the Office of Homelessness, and there's not a day that goes by that we're not talking about either someone we have been trying to help, or unfortunately, in the case of the couple that we had tried to help, we are continuing to try and find them because they were in the shelter one day, gone the next, but we are determined to make sure that they know the door is always open. We know that this is no small task. It's been an issue in San Francisco for decades, but through bold and innovative solutions, we know that we can make a difference in people's lives. It's not sometimes just housing. It will be supportive services. It will be shelter beds. It will be all that we need in order to address those issues, because sadly, we do know that so many people who are struggling with homelessness are struggling with mental illness and substance abuse disorder. And those are challenges that we have to address in addition to providing a place, a safe, affordable place for people to call home. We know the voters recently approved additional funding for homelessness programs, and I am working to clear any legal challenges that this funding may face. But in the meantime, we can't wait to take action. Since July, we have helped 577 people exit homelessness. And I am moving forward aggressively to open 1,000 new shelter beds, the largest expansion of shelter beds in 30 years in San Francisco. This will clear the shelter wait list so that everyone has a place indoors. And our new One system, a centralized database tracking individual case management and responses, is ahead of schedule in signing people up. We had a goal to reach about 2,000 individuals by the end of October. We are almost at 4,000 people in our One system, which is our coordinated system to try and track and help people out of homelessness into housing. And this will allow us to continue to track and process exactly what we're doing so that we're able to communicate to the public what is going on in San Francisco. We know what we see on the streets, but we are making progress. We are doing great things. And we do have a lot of community-based organizations and partners in this effort who have amazing success stories, like Tamika Moss, who's with Hamilton Family Services. We know that there is a lot of work to do. And since I've taken office, we've already opened 2 navigation centers, and by the end of the year, we will have another navigation center open. All of these things will make the difference, along with the mental health stabilization beds, along with hopefully safe injection sites and some of the other things that I have made a commitment to do as mayor. And I am looking forward to not only focusing on doing this with the city and the city dollars alone. I am excited and looking forward to continuing to make sure that we're able to deliver projects like this with a public-private partnership that will be a win-win for the people who need this housing the most. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. This is an exciting day in San Francisco, and I am looking forward to many more days like this where we provide a future of hope and prosperity for those who we know who need housing the most. And with that, I'd like to introduce the man that stepped up to the plate and made it happen for us, Marc Benioff.
Okay, well, let's just need me to make a little adjustment here. Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. And to Mayor Breed and to Jeff Kaczynski and everyone from the city, to Randy Shaw, and everyone from the Tenderloin Housing Clinic, to all of our friends who are here and our partners from these amazing NGOs, like our good friend Tamika from Hamilton Families, Raphael House, Larkin Street, Glide, Catholic Charities, and so many others, all of you who are doing God's work working on homelessness every single day. Thank you all for your incredible leadership, your devotion to the mission that unites us and brings us here today, which is ending the crisis of homelessness in San Francisco. And we have a very serious crisis of homelessness in San Francisco. Everyone knows this is my #1 priority. We have over 7,500 homeless individuals on our streets. We have 1,200 homeless families, many with 2 kids each, and it's time to bring this to a close. That is why Lynn and I are so excited about today's announcement. And we're thrilled to be making it here today with the mayor. This is an example of the difference that we are going to make with public-private partnerships. The city, business, philanthropy, and NGOs all working together. This is the path, this is the formula to bring homelessness to a close in our city. When Mayor Breed, a great champion of our homeless, learned that the Bristol Hotel needed funding in order to be converted into housing units, she swung into action. She approached me, and I agreed this is something we want to do in partnership with her. And today we're proud to give $6 million so that the Bristol can provide 58 new housing units for San Franciscans working their way out of homelessness and towards independence. It's going to help hundreds of people in the short term and thousands in the long term. And because the experts tell us, and the medical research shows, that when a homeless person finally gets a home, which is what it's all about, when a homeless person finally gets a home of their own, it's transformative. It's a catalyst for change. It's a reduction in all symptoms and all issues in their life. And I'm told that these units that we have here today are going to go to the people who are currently living in places where they have to share bathrooms. And when they were told that they were coming here to the Bristol with their own private bathrooms, just like the rest of us, they're moved to tears. They are on our mind, especially at this season of the year. That's part of what having a home is all about. The basic dignity that every person deserves. And that is why it is my #1 priority for our city. Randy said getting the call was like a miracle. But I'll tell you, when it comes to ending homelessness in our city, it doesn't take miracles. It doesn't take miracles. It takes money. And it takes a lot of money. So, this is a solvable problem. There are programs that work. We have many great examples of programs that are working, like Randy's program, like Tamika's program. We can go down the list, but we need to scale these programs. And that is going to take a lot of money. That's why with the passage now of Proposition C, the city will start collecting that money January 1st. That is the miracle. That is the miracle that I'm so excited about. And a result of the campaign, we identified so many new ideas and so many new opportunities, like the partnership that brings us here today, and many others that we plan to announce in the coming weeks. Bristol Hotel is a preview, and this announcement here today is a preview of what is to come, because the city will finally have the money to do it. Not just to do this, but to do so many other things that are on our list. It's the beginning of a whole parade of new investments to end homelessness in our city. And I want to make one final point. Starting January 1st, the biggest, the wealthiest, the most important companies in our city, like mine, Salesforce, the city's largest employer, will pay more, about 0.5% of our revenue, to help homelessness. That is very exciting. A lot more buildings like this are going to open up, a lot more shelters, a lot more services, a lot more capabilities. That is very exciting. That is the miracle of this season. But that doesn't let anyone off the hook. It doesn't in any way absolve the rest of us. It doesn't absolve me. It doesn't absolve you, especially the wealthiest among us, from giving what we can and embracing our responsibilities as citizens and as neighbors. Prop C doesn't replace private philanthropy, as today is evidence of. It complements it. That is why Jeff Lawson, the CEO of Twilio, has now also given $1 million to homelessness. That is why Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, has given $5 million to homelessness. And I challenge every CEO and every company in our city to join us, to join Salesforce, to join the city, to join all of our NGOs as we work to get every homeless person into a home. Join us in remembering the wisdom of St. Francis. St. Francis, who is our namesake of our city, San Francisco, who said, "For it is in giving that we receive." Well, that is why we're here. That is what we are doing. That is what we are committed to doing. So we all must be committed to restoring the greatness of our city. This is a San Francisco that takes care of its people. It always has. This is a San Francisco that is a fabric of tolerance and diversity and inclusion. But it is a city that is a fabric of compassion and love, especially at this time of the year, and especially when we look at our city's most neediest, when we walk down the streets and see our homeless and say, wow, there through the grace of God goes I. Thank you for all of you for being here today. Thank you, Mayor Breed, for your wisdom. Thank you to your incredible work. And we can't wait to have this opened up and getting it used for great order. Thank you.
Thank you. And what an inspiring speech we should all talk. I do want to just mention, if you look at the actual practical effect, had Marc Benioff and his wife not stepped up, this building would be renting units out from $2,400 to $3,000 a month instead of the $550 to $650 that we're going to be renting them out for. That is if you talk about how do we get affordable housing in San Francisco, well, this is how we did it right here. So our last speaker is Gail Seagraves, who is very active in the Tenderloin neighborhood. She does museum tours for the Tenderloin Museum, and is one of those tenants who's lived in one of our SROs for many, many years, does not have a private bathroom, and she'll give you her take on what this means. So Gail?
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, this has to come down here. Hello, good morning. My name is Gail Seagraves, and as Randy said, I'm a tenant organizer at the Elk Hotel with the Central City SRO Collaborative, and I'm also a walking tour guide for the Tenderloin Museum. And I'm also very active in the community. But today I'm here because I am so excited that the Bristol will be opening soon as a much-needed step-up hotel. I've been living at the Elk Hotel, which is a supportive housing SRO, for over 10 years now, where I have to share a bathroom, and I have to share a shower, and I'm woken up many times in the middle of the night because tenants have issues. And this is why this is so important for people like myself. When I came here to San Francisco 12 years ago, I came here for a job. And then life hit me hard, and the job fell through. And then when I went through my savings, I had to stay in a shelter, and then an SRO. So after working on certain areas of my life, I became ready to move on to a more independent life. You know, one that just, like where you have your own restroom and a community kitchen and laundry, those simple yet very, very needed things for a person. Not only that, but when people like me that are independent and can live independent, once we leave, that will open up so many SRO rooms for those on the streets, for those in shelters. It's just going to be amazing. I mean, I have talked to anybody that would listen, anybody, that we need step-up hotels, and it would just go right around and help everybody. So I am grateful to see this happening with the Bristol, and this is a win-win situation for the homeless. And thank you for this opportunity, everybody.
So the mayor and Mr. Benioff will be available to answer any questions after we're concluding this event. And there will be a tour. After you've talked to the mayor and Mr. Benioff, I'm happy to give people a tour to some of the rooms after that. So you'll get your chance. Thank you. And I want to give you, Mark, I want to give you an autograph. I want to give you an autograph.